Wild zebras. It has no sauce. It's dry.
Probably not wise.
Gotcha, white folks.
You pooped.
Gotcha.
Where in the world are we going?
Like truffles in the wild.
You could pass as a white dude.
I ain't mad at that. Just in case I forget my name.
So I'm Justin Draplin.
I'm CJ Whitfield.
We're the Wild Zebras.
Bam, bam. And for the people that can't see it, that's listening from audio, this is the Wild Zebras official merch. If you want to be the coolest cat in the caboose, get this Wild Zebra merch, bro. Anyways,
$150.
$150 per hat.
Limited edition.
Very limited. Very limited. Anyways, you're tuned into the Wild Zebra podcast. Check us out. Following us on our platforms. Smash that like button. Hit that alert button. Subscribe and be entertained.
So there.
There it is.
All right, special election special. Are you kicking us off on the special election? Election's over?
Is it over? I mean, is it over? White folks can't seem to accept that it's over. Should we just postpone this until Trump stops trying to pull all kind of nonsense? I mean, can we call it, is it over? Can we have this? Should we have this in December or whenever it stops or whenever the madness ends?
January 20th, I guess, is when the next president takes over. So maybe we can hold off till then, see what happens.
Oh, let's just do it. For the fans, let's just act like it's really over. Let's just act like millions and millions of people voted. We're just, hypothetically, air quotes.
All right. I mean, I can pretend with you. I can pretend with you.
Okay.
All right. So is that your lead? I told you were taking the lead, man. I feel like you're backing off on the lead. All right. So I'm leading. I didn't know I was leading. So we got Donald Trump, or Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I think I'm saying it right. Did I say it right?
Hey man, first I thought that was like a jab, like a racist jab. I don't even know how to say it. So
well, I know, but I mean, liberals want to call if you're not liberal, blatantly liberal, and you say Kamala wrong, you're obviously a racist. Even though she said it wrong and Joe Biden said it wrong, they're good.
So I just want to be an alter. That's fake news. How can you say your own name wrong?
Here's a recording. Said it wrong. It was like cold outside, so like she kind of slurred it a little bit. It's pretty good stuff.
Say their own name wrong.
I've said my name wrong. Okay. Or it sounds like I say it wrong, I should say. I've done that before.
Okay.
I don't care. I'm not knocking her. I just want to make sure that I don't come off as racist.
Hey, just say Cammy. Call her Cammy for short.
Well, I think the racist was like because they were making it sound like camel.
I don't know. You know how your boy Trump, say China, and he was like Kamala, when he's emphasizing being the great guy that he is. Let's just call him and this is G-rated show. So we'll call him Dick Donald. Like Dick, short for dictator. Like, because he's, not the other way, the dictator. Short for dictator. Dictator
G-rated.
Donald. There it is.
Shrek
G-rated.
joke.
Dictator Donald. When you say Shrek joke because my hat's lime green?
So dictator joke, though, actually, it's funny because I was doing some research. And actually, when Franklin Delano Roosevelt got elected, Democrats were pushing for a dictatorship. Interesting enough. Wikipedia. It's weird.
Definitely. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah.
I'm going to fact check that.
To
be brought up on the next one.
Yeah, I don't. If it's on Wikipedia, but it's literally there's an article called "Roosevelt Dictatorship" and how it was proposed by supporters of Franklin Roosevelt because the country was so worked up about the Great Depression that they were like, all right, a dictatorship's the only way to get us out. So, but anyway, so it's a big deal, particularly for. I guess Black and brown women, right? That's
Absolutely.
like that's the biggest winner. If we're gonna say there's a winner, it's really just them.
I agree.
Everybody else kind of lost.
I agree. No, I don't agree. Everybody else. I was with you to the end. You slid it in. I'm like, I agree. No.
Oh, you heard me say that part. I'm sorry. I thought you were going to be busy listening to yourself. I'd be able to slide that in.
No. Slid that in. I got to back it up. I got to back that train up right there.
As a country, it was a rough, bumpy ride. but I think the big winners, that group is the big winner, the biggest winner
Absolutely.
of the day,
Absolutely.
which is exciting.
To go from being the most disenfranchised and overlooked and least right, having people in the history of this country, to making the biggest impact of actually swaying the outcome. I remember us having a debate. You were like, "Oh, Obama won only because Black people voted," and I'm like, I brung up the percentage that we were, and I thought that it was absolutely impossible.
I said Obama won only because he's Black.
No, because Black people went out and voted. Like, that was the reason. Like, he was win. Like, our old school debates, you're like, he won because Black people win. Everybody Black, and I'm like, dog, we only like 10%. Like, there's no way that we're gonna sway. Like, you weren't gonna win unless Black people voted for you. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I would say that Black people do have sway more so than you're admitting, because if you look at the price,
I'm learning that. I'm admitting that. Yeah,
the percentage difference. You say they're 10% of the population. They're actually
with 13% of the but think a minute, we're mass incarcerated, and any Black person that has that has a felony can't vote. So you
fair enough. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. 90% vote Democratic.
Absolutely, okay. But what's 90% of 7 or 6 or 7% though? 6%. Where's the other 94% of the votes coming from? Not Black people.
But that's what I'm saying. It's enough to swing the vote. So if only,
I know, and that's what I learned. That's what I learned.
Clearly, if the Black vote is split 50-50, the election swings the other way.
That's crazy. That 6% of all total votes is swinging the vote because we get 90% of that 6%. You see what I'm saying? Like, I find that crazy. But
it is crazy.
Everybody's talking about it. Everybody's writing about it. All the news outlets. Black women have helped flip Georgia. Black women flip this, this. Black women help, I'm like, wow. The Black vote, when Black women stood up, because I got a lot to say of all these Kanyes and 50 Cents and Lil Waynes. I just say that because they're notable, not because they're respected, simply because they're notable because they're entertainers. But
and Whitfield and Herschel Walker. I mean, okay, but let's just go with. There's only a couple.
But anyways, I can't think of anybody with a brain in their head that's not famous for making us stomp our feet or clap our hands, be notable for being an idiot. But anyways, still, man, it was like 80-some% of Black people, Black men voted for Biden, and I'm like, what are you 13% doing voting for Trump? But like I said, Black women stepped up. They were like 96% Biden. Like, they get it. You know what I'm saying? Even like even the Latino vote was lower than Black. I'm like, all this stuff that he's saying about you and all this stuff.
Well, but see, and that's why I point to, like, I don't think it's as the media, depending on what media you watch, will depend on how much it's slanted. So if you're only watching one media, like CNN has not said one good thing about Trump in 5 years, period.
Nothing to say, but
I rest my case. And I'm not saying it's mostly good by any stretch of the imagination.
But really quick, just to say, so CNN is liberal, Fox is clearly out of their mind, right? And then so is MSNBC the best middle ground to? I
don't know.
Major network though, as far as major networks go, is that probably your best bet? That's TV? What I've been seeing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Everybody's got their slant, right? So if you go, I'll go to like CNBC, which is like more business, right? Mm-hmm. So their slant is going to all be about business. Sometimes it's Democratic, like every source has an agenda.
Oh right? Yeah, but I'm saying that's good. I mean, they're gonna have that business, but as far as taking a political side, from what I saw, I've watched more news outlet television in the last week than I probably have in my entire life combined, outside of, watching an hour-long debate. So as far as daily watching the news, and I think MSNBC kind of like plays it straight. They don't have none that call crap when there's call.
I don't watch a lot. We don't even have cable. Like we have Apple TV and we do some Netflix and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I just don't watch those shows. I read a lot of this websites though. So like that's like why I like Real Clear Politics. So when I'm looking at politics, I like going to Real Clear Politics because it lines them all up, and you'll get a Breitbart, a CNN, a Fox News, HuffPo. I mean, you get the whole range.
Oh, shebang.
Right?
Yeah.
But what I do know definitively is Breitbart is definitely right. CNN is definitely left. I don't think anybody's going to argue me on that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
depending on what you watch, if you watch CNN, like I said, in 5 years, they haven't said one positive thing ever. I mean, it's not, I get it.
And equally about Fox, they haven't said one positive thing about the liberal
Exactly.
side as well.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Breitbart, whatever. Like, so if you focus on one, you're warped to whatever that source is saying, which is why I really try to do both, and I try to be as even keel. I really try to strip emotion out of it. And I know we talk about this. Yes, I get emotional about some topics. We all do. I get that, but I do think it's important that we at least attempt to think things through logically, because emotion can get us in a bit of trouble. Emotion's important, but we gotta be intellectual and emotional. We are
Absolutely.
both. So,
Absolutely. And for example of this, pointed to that is, taking your emotions out, using your intellect, and voting for an absolute psychotic idiot that have shown nothing but that his entire adult life of circumventing laws and not respecting boundaries. And yeah, take emotion out of that, use your intellect, and put that best foot forward. Exactly. That's what we do.
And I'm glad that you were able to do that with no emotion. Very, very even keeled. But so we got big wins for Black, brown women. That's exciting. I'm happy about that. And we also now know that apparently if as long as you're celebrating Biden in a big rally, you won't get COVID, because you don't have to social distance or anything in those celebrations. So that's good. That's a win.
I've never seen that. I see the people dancing with masks on. I mean, yeah, they're celebrating. I think you're leaving out a big part of wearing masks, just like people do in the grocery stores. That's the one difference I would like to just add that you seem to be missing out at the Trump rallies. There's no social distancing, and on purpose not wearing masks, breathing on people. But I guess masks are the smart, small thing of this.
No, it's good. It's good as long as you're
to really take COVID seriously. You can't be around anybody, but wearing masks is optional.
But unless you're Republican, because then if you're a Trump supporter, it's a hoax anyway, so it doesn't matter. So everybody wins here. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to protest Black Lives Matter, or if you want to cheer a Biden win, you can't get COVID. And if you're a Trump supporter, it's a hoax. So everybody wins.
Yeah. If you want to support Black Lives Matter, yeah. Because when you're out doing that, not social distancing or marching, you have a mask on. Yeah, you got a mask on.
Everybody wins.
Yeah. I can see how that is a direct correlation. I can see how that's a direct correlation.
But you never know. You never know. Because like you said, we're always learning more about COVID. So like we might find out that really only Republicans can get
Absolutely,
COVID.
We are.
More information.
No, that's not. We can't find that out.
We're always learning more.
We can't find that out.
Okay, we also learned that
so yeah.
we didn't learn much. I think we've all known that Trump's a crybaby. That's not new.
Yeah.
We've known that. We know that every side is going to take their team's side and yell. We know that. We also know no matter either side will cry if they lose the election.
No. Let me stop you there. It's not that cut and dry. I mean, we lost good one. Either side will cry, but one side will literally try to ruin everything that the country is built upon, and bend to the will of one person, and actually absolutely forget about democracy, absolutely forget about the people having a voice, and throw it all to the wind to have their guy not lose. I don't know if you remember in Florida, with Bush, and how his brother was governor and they had to recount and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really close, and it was really bad, and it was really suspect. Just as suspect as y'all imaginary stuff.
Did you see those ballots in Florida? Did you see those ballots, the Hanging Chad ballots?
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, Google them. They're so shady because the way they lined them up, like it'd be so easy to accidentally mark the wrong guy.
Oh my God. Oh, so it'd be hard, easy to mark the wrong guy in front of the equally Republican people that are monitoring who's everybody's
No, no,
marking.
no, no. You're missing the point. I'm saying,
Okay.
I think the Republicans were in charge, and the way that ticket's laid out, it made it easy to vote for Bush because he was the top of the ticket.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah,
And it made it difficult because what they did was they put Bush.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the current ticket. I was like, I didn't see that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, they did.
Yeah.
They put Bush here, and then they put Gore right below him. Okay, but then on the right they put another guy, and then they had presidents on both sides.
Oh, okay.
On the left it was lined up Bush,
like
Gore.
a Green Party or something.
Yeah,
like
right. So, but if you would have poked that second dot, which logically, it's the second one down, just poke the second dot. If you're not paying too close attention, you actually voted for the other guy. That's what happened to a lot of these people.
Wow. That's
not to say anything about being older, but I mean, these were minute little dots pinned.
They're gonna try. Yeah, they're gonna try everything.
Yes, granted
that. There, yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, look at that, man. I read that. And I looked at those. I mean, I don't know that I'd vote right. I wouldn't do it. So,
but my whole thing is, even with that shadiness, did the Democratic nominee not concede? Like this stuff.
It took him 37 days to concede. He conceded and then he took it back.
Okay, stop. What did he do?
He conceded by phone the night of the election, but then he took it back just by phone, is my understanding. He never made a public concession for 37 days.
No, that's not true. I was making my list of fact checking.
No, let's check it right now.
Yeah.
That way I
have to check this.
That way I can throw out a whole bunch of other BS that you'll totally miss while you're fact checking that one.
Yeah, because I know you get your facts. You get your facts from you get those Fox facts.
All right, let's do. I'll talk about Sharpies for a minute because Sharpies are a big deal in politics now. Okay. We have Sharpie Gate from when Trump literally altered the path of a hurricane with a Sharpie. You remember that? Hurricane Dorian. So that is how much power this president had. He literally was able to alter the course of a hurricane with a Sharpie. And now we also have election fraud with a Sharpie. So I feel like Sharpies are trending in politics here.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would just like to speak on Trump's power because he told all you people that he was speaking to that once he got reelected, he was just going to stop COVID. So since he's not getting elected, I guess we got to keep dealing with being the top because he's so powerful he can stop it, but he's only going to stop it once he gets reelected, though. So I guess we got to deal with it.
And now that he didn't get reelected, clearly
he's not going to. He's not going to use his power.
Yeah, it's done. I told you. He told us. It's not, it's not his fault. He told us only if he's elected, he'll stop it. So, our fault.
This guy is a maniac, man. And the over 10 meter just keeps getting pushed further. He just says more and does more. Like, come on, man. It's like the country's in the balance. You're tweeting these inflammatory things. You're tweeting these inflammatory things, putting the country on fire. The presidential election is weighing in the balance, dog. And it's, people are dying, the numbers are going up in the pandemic, and you're just chilling. You're just like talking. It's like
chilling.
Everybody needs time. You know what I'm saying? Even the president needs a vacation time. That's not the time. That's not the time to vacation.
But here's the thing. I don't think it's
ridiculous.
Trump. It's Trump. He doesn't care. Okay.
Clearly, that's okay. So that's what I was getting to. He just doesn't care. All I care about winning and losing. All the other stuff I don't care about.
Well, it's not even that. I don't think it's even that. He's planning his post-election. He's planning post-presidency. That's what he's planning.
This is all posturing, all this nonsense that people are getting behind.
Well, here's the deal. Here's what I think is happening. And I have no inside knowledge. I know nothing about nothing. He's going hard, and I've noticed that actually even CNN, liberal media, has kind of toned down their pushback, which I think is smart. They came out too hard when Trump started going down this fraud election
It's
bonanza.
crazy. He's making up all these erroneous claims that are
Yeah.
factless, but
No, he
we
is.
have to, but we can't react as you know, Democrats or as the liberal media or the people that are opposing him. We have to keep ourselves in check. That the fact that
Yeah.
he's throwing the country in the muck and lighting these fires out of
No,
straight absolute
listen.
fact. How is that back on us?
No, Democrats can react however they want. You want to be mad and
No,
pissed
but
off.
people are like,
Fine.
but that it's, with the people like you were saying, both sides. That's your both side type of thing. Oh, they came at him. Oh, they're going at him. Oh, they're mad at him. Oh, they hate him. Look what he's doing. Like, you can't be mad at somebody that's unprecedentedly breaking history to being an idiot.
Hey, and there's a whole group of people totally playing into it. That's my problem. Is like, we know he's an idiot. He's been an idiot for 5 years. Every single week, the headline has been, "Oh, this is a new this is unprecedented." You can't say that every week for 5 years. Like, why are we still surprised? That's what's
because he keeps doing more stuff that pushes the Overton meter even further. It's like, we've never had a president call people that he doesn't like sons of bitches. Like,
well, that's not true. I mean, back in the day, there was straight up blatant racist presidents.
Oh yeah, well, we don't have recorded history of it with video cameras and stuff.
Well, that's true.
It's documented.
It's documented.
Yeah, but to have somebody,
recorded.
I mean, it's just like it's documented. Police were hanging and killing unarmed black people, but it's shocking when you see it in color live video. We always know it's been happening, but it's really worse when you see it and see the life.
Did you fact check me yet, man? You're way off topic.
I know. I'm trying to look exactly how many days because it's clear he conceded. And they would, I mean, even the
They're
Associated Press.
Officially, he lost the general election December 12th. I don't know what that means. Yes. History.com. Al Gore concedes presidential election on December 13th, 2000, after a 36-day legal battle.
No, they had to. See, that's skewing it, though. They had to recount. He didn't know if he lost. Yes, he conceded because then they say, oh, stuff is funky in Florida. So we had to go back through the thing. It took him like another couple weeks to.
Hey, I get it. That's fine. I'm just saying that it did take him 37 days to concede. 36.
No, but we're not talking about, okay, Trump's losing it. Even if he gets the states that he's contesting, Biden's won Arizona at this point. He's won Nevada at this. It does take whatever one you want.
Yeah.
You're not taking them all back. You can't make up that much stuff, okay?
Yeah.
And these Republican runs. So this was a different situation where I don't know if I lost. Genuinely. Like, it comes down to this one last state, and this one last state needs a couple weeks to redo it. Okay.
Just a couple districts, though. It wasn't the whole state. There was only like 5 districts or something. It was a very small number. It was only the counties that he wanted to target to flip those seats. It wasn't like a full state recount. It was him targeting specific areas to turn the state.
I don't
and
know.
I'm not saying it's the same thing, but what I am saying is he did take 36 days to concede. Okay.
So what is if you're not saying it's the same thing, what's the point of saying it took 36? Because 3 weeks of it was recounting.
You asked.
You used it as a rebuttal to what I said. I said no president has not conceded. And you said, hey, just in case.
Stacey Abrams still hasn't conceded the Georgia governor's race. Still hasn't conceded.
I don't know how true that is, but we don't really care about that. We care about historically.
We only care about bashing Trump. Let's bash Trump.
Historically,
he's out of line. He's ruining our democracy. He's a terrorist. And guess what? He's already been voted out. So why are we still spending time on this? Let's move on. Let's go.
Yeah, let's move. But my co-host has said, "Oh yeah, regurgitating Fox News. When did the media elect 2 presidents?
You were
when
like,
electoral college numbers come in and they say he's one."
Here's CJ's twist. Here's CJ's twist. This has never happened. A president has never not conceded. Yes, it did. Different circumstances, but it took him 36 days. But you can't say it never happened. You can't say that.
It wasn't.
You sound like a fool when you say it never happened.
It doesn't, Justin. It hasn't. This is a clear-cut, pronounced victory. This isn't a recount. This isn't. It's within 1%. This isn't. It's coming down to Georgia. You know, Georgia's still counting. Okay.
The recounting, hand count.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's automatically triggered, not because of Trump's lies, just because if it's less than a 1% or less margin, it's automatically done.
Well,
Okay.
but no, they kicked it up a notch. The Republican Secretary of State made it even harsher. So I was reading on this. Normally, they only take a batch and hand count a batch against the results. He's hand counting the whole freaking state.
Oh, surprise, surprise. It's
Yeah.
But
Well, I'm just saying, like, let's get facts right here.
My whole point is that, but they're not facts that are helping you. They're the facts that are helping me. But
Well,
point.
Here's where you keep getting confused. I'm not taking a side. I'm neutral. I don't give a.
No, you're not, because you're giving me.
You always say facts are facts, but then you want to ignore facts. Hey, no president has never conceded.
They haven't conceded.
Oh, well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this part. You can't change the target.
I'm not adding caveats. You're the one that adding caveats.
Oh.
You're taking, so exactly, before I was interrupted, that'd be like, everything is done. Georgia is doing their legal, not fantasy land recount because it was tight. And then Biden not conceding or Trump not conceding. That's the same thing as Gore. This isn't that you clearly lost, even if Jordan doesn't turn. We're not waiting for anything. You just don't want to not leave the White House. That has never happened. Gore, waiting for a recount and then waiting for that recount to be complete and then saying, okay, I lost, is that's conceding. If he waited for the recount, got the recount, and then waited for another 2 months going around making up false claims and frivolous lawsuits just to push out stuff, then that wouldn't be the same. Your examples, your neutral examples, are always clearly right supporting, one. Two, they have no correlation to the subject at hand. We're talking about people that have lost and conceded. We're not talking about people, like you said, that have waited to see if they're lost. Who would concede if you don't know if the recount is going to tell you, I win Florida, I'm the president? Why would you concede if you don't know if you lost?
Okay, can somebody use that same argument for Trump though?
Absolutely not. This is all his making.
But here's my argument.
Logic doesn't make our reality.
Here's my
reality
argument.
Is reality.
Trump
lies don't make reality. You guys are embracing this like he makes it up, and then we have to act like it's true. Like, what if all these Republican states cheated? What if they slid all these and made all these fake things with Republican people counting just as many as Democratic people counting, with Republican Secretary of States, with Republican leadership, with Republicans winning houses in the Senate? If we were going to cheat, why wouldn't we just win the Senate and the House of Representatives and not lose all those seats? Why did the cheating only stop at Trump? Because it's Trump's fantasy and you guys are feeding into it.
Yeah,
so to answer your question, no, we can't make that argument.
To your point, it's Trump's fantasy. To your point, it's Trump's fantasy.
Mm-hmm. So tell me somebody else's point, because you emphasized it was mine, as if that's not true. It's just my opinion.
No, because you're making my point without realizing it. So if Trump is so delusional, he might actually believe what he's saying. I think he could be that delusional, personally. I really do.
Take the think out of that, and he is that delusional. I mean,
so there you go. Thank you for taking my side.
He thinks that he's a star and he can grab any woman by the genitals. Does that mean it's true that he can go up and grab women by the genitals? What you mean? Oh, come on.
You say I get off topic? You say I get off topic? You're going to bring that up
to have somebody so delusional and just saying because he says it, we got to acknowledge it as truth because that's what he thinks.
No, I didn't say you have to acknowledge anything as truth. You're killing me. We know Biden won. Okay. We know Biden won. We know Kamala is going to be the vice president.
Yes.
Here's what I think is my point is I honestly, I think I should be a Democratic strategist. My point is that the Republicans are already past this election. This isn't about this election right now. All this voter cheating, all this stuff, it has really ultimately nothing to do about this election. And I think that's what the people that want to still fight and complain and whine about this, I don't know that they realize this isn't about this election. Biden's going to be president. This is about Trump's post-election strategy and keeping those fired up Republicans fired up to come vote in the midterms. That's what I think this is about, because Trump was the most hated president ever. I don't know that that's in question from either side. If you just look at the statistics, now you could argue, oh, fake polls, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I think generally both sides would agree that he's the most hated president ever. But just like if Hillary won, she would have been the most hated president ever. I mean, all the polls were like, these are the most two hated candidates of all time.
Those were two terrible picks. I remember that.
Can we at least agree that
we do agree on that? My wife talked
hated,
me in. I was not going to vote, and as a Black person, that's that's known the stuff that the people had to go to. It's bad to say it, but those two candidates were so bad. And then my wife let me know that if I didn't vote for Hillary, that'd be a vote for Trump. And if
you didn't vote for Hillary, you were cut off.
I was voting for Trump. I was voting for Trump.
Gave Trump the victory.
Yeah, but, yeah. We guys. Yeah, the two of us on this podcast.
I'm saying Michigan. So I think this is already going into midterms, and I really think that I think that the media has played into Trump's hands because, okay, let's just say out of 150 million votes or however many there was, let's say there's just 5 illegal votes. Can we agree that there's maybe 5?
No.
1?
No. There are Republicans sitting right there that are not going to say allow this illegal vote. There are Republicans there.
I understand that. I'm not saying they got allowed. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that they were made. I'm saying if one vote gets made, here's the problem. Mail-in ballots. I get this. You don't got to go into the soliloquy. I'll agree to that. But I'm really quick. Hold on really quick. Every scenario like this comes in that every illegal or every invalid vote that came gets thrown out.
No, would just so happen to be Democratic. No, all Republicans are honest. No Republican.
But this isn't my point. This isn't my point. The point is that the media has been playing into this. Okay. So when Trump had come out and said, "Oh, all this fraud," the media, the left media would come out and say, "There's absolutely no fraud. This is a completely legitimate election." Now, this is the same media that attacked Trump for 5 years. So clearly, the people on the right are going to be like, obviously, media is biased.
No, okay, the media on the right is just going to listen to whatever Trump says. I've seen this with my own eyes.
Correct. So and the media on the left is going to go opposite of whatever Trump says. But this is
so regardless of our blowback or our reaction to it, they're still going to be eating from his lap. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that. Both sides are going to eat from their own laps. But what I'm trying to say is I think that right now in the midterms, the way this is playing out, the advantages to the Republicans. And I'm not saying that because I want them to win. I'm saying trying to step back and looking at how this plays out. Because when Trump says that and the left says there's no fraud at all, and they fight about it, that one person that voted, that mailed in their vote and passed away before it voted.
Yep. They just so happen to be Democratic. That one person that happened to be
Once
Democratic.
Again, you're missing the point.
No, I'm not missing the point. They did fraud for the Democrats to win. That's the whole point you're making. And that's why it's looking good for Republican. That's the point. You're trying to glaze over it. You can't have it both ways, Justin. If they're saying it's fraud and you're saying one invalid one that even if it didn't get counted is fraud, what they're saying is they're insinuating. They're not insinuating. They're flat out saying that only the fraud votes were Democratic votes to help the Democratic Party. Joe
Biden. That is what they're saying. Absolutely. Okay. I'm giving you that. I'm saying yes, but I'm saying it plays.
So the one fraud theory, or if there's truly some fraud that takes place that makes the left look bad by saying there's no fraud. How can your statement be like valid?
Because every time a little hint of fraud pops up, it's meat. It's red meat. So what I'm saying is,
that gives them something. That gives them more fuel for the
right. It's just firing up firing up the right. And my point is, this is for the midterms. So if they can keep their base fired up for the midterms, they crush the Democrats. And I don't know that Democrats are going to be fired up in the midterms because they're focused on Trump still. Trump's out of office. Midterms don't care. Trump's firing up all these people thinking the process is a sham, and they're they got to get, so they're going to be fired up for the midterms.
So I see what you're saying.
And Biden's number one vote was not Trump. That was the vote for. That's what won Biden the presidency.
That's true. That is
He's
true.
not
that
Trump. Okay.
That's true.
He's not on the ticket in the midterms. Trump's not on the ticket on the midterms. Who's firing up their base to vote in the midterm?
So you're saying this is a byproduct because Trump doesn't care about anybody but himself. You're just saying this is a byproduct of him acting a buffoon, and this is what's going to happen. Are you saying like this is a strategy for Trump to win the midterm and win the Republican? He don't care about the Senate. He don't care about the.
No, I don't think it's a strategy for Trump to win the midterms because he doesn't care.
No. He doesn't care about anything but himself. Do you think it's a strategy to help the Republican Party? He doesn't even care about it. He just cares about himself.
No. But I think, like I said, trying to be outside looking at it, I think it helps the Republican Party in the midterms the way it's playing out. Now, the liberal media has backed away. And if you've noticed, their verbiage has changed significantly from there's absolutely no fraud, because that was how they
noticed that. I haven't noticed that. They're still saying there's no fraud.
Now they're saying stuff like there's not wide-ranging fraud, or there's not enough fraud to change the outcome of the election. They've used a little bit less rhetoric, which I think is smart, because you have to be you can't say.
The dude's making up absolute lies, and you have to check yourself about calling him a liar. And
but that's the problem.
Absolute word that you have to.
But that one voter makes him not a liar. That one fraud voter,
even if it's a Republican fraud voter,
because it's fraud. That's the problem. That was what I think, and I could be wrong, but that's what I think the liberal media walked into. Now they've toned down their rhetoric on it.
I don't think so. I'm on CNN right now to call it Trump factless lying about fraud, where there's no proof of it, absolutely no fraud.
Are they still saying that? And that's what I think is the problem. Like I sent you the article. You're in Michigan. There was the seat that got swapped from Democrat to Republican because of a glitch. Okay, it happened. It's true. It's in Michigan. It's for you. Okay. Once again, it got corrected. No big deal. Everybody calm down. But because of the situation, you got all the Republicans who say, obviously there's fraud. Look at this. This switch to seat. Okay. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that the energy is going to go to the midterms to the Republicans, because unless they get on board with like James Carville. Okay. James Carville came out yesterday and he was like, absolutely. Let's recount every state because I want to beat him twice. Okay?
No, I say that, but that's ridiculous. You're playing into it. We don't have to recount. We don't have to be nice about this guy's lies to win. Like,
you think that statement from James Carville is being nice?
No, I don't. Yes, I do, because this guy is making up stuff. Why should the country have to go and put on pause because Trump wants to make up something? No, you lost, and everybody knows you lost. There isn't widespread. There was no amount of cheating in a Republican-ran state in a bipartisan county that made Biden win. It's just simply not true, and we need to stop acknowledging this guy's fantasy.
No, your statement is true. Mm-hmm. I completely agree with that.
So why do we have to appease this man and put the country on pause and recount?
You don't have to. You don't have to. You guys can.
Why even say it? Why is that? Why to you? Why is that the more acceptable, the more pro thing, the more bipartisan, the more correct thing to say?
No, I didn't say it's bipartisan. I say stuff like that is going to be more effective for firing up the base in 2 years from now.
That's what I want. And that's what I wanted to say while you were talking. I had lost it. No matter what we say, if we just sit quiet, they're going to say, see, they're not saying anything back. If we say, they're admitting that there is some fraud. Bottom line, no matter what the response is, Trump's people, anybody who backs this idiotic stuff, they're going to be fired up no matter what. There is no response. There's no response from the left that can simmer that fire. These people are, and I find it hard. It's doctors that my wife worked with. It's clearly police officers that I used to work with. It's, teachers, at schools and stuff like that. People that I looked at as pillars of the community that were intelligent. Blindly follow this man's rhetoric. No matter what the left said, they're going to be fired up. Is what I'm getting to. There's no response.
Maybe, and you may be right.
Yeah,
you may be right. Once again, I'm not trying to defend the actions of him. I'm really not. I know you think.
I know. I said no. Yeah, I know. I didn't get that from it, but like you said, it's going to work as strategy. I don't know. There's no winning for this. I just don't know how, even from Fox or yourself, when we have our offline conversations, how there could be any blame put on the Democratic side for what this idiot is doing. Like, our criticism is our response to what he's doing. Like, we got to, if we shut up, that's not going to be good enough because.
But see, your argument flies for them too. No matter what Trump does, he's going to do it, so he might as well be a dick. That's their reasoning. Their reasoning is
ridiculous.
That's
ridiculous.
Fine. I agree. You're both ridiculous. Congratulations. You win a button.
Oh my goodness.
But you don't. But the thing that I scratch my head about is like, I don't know. I see it. So I know you get frustrated when I see it happens on both sides, and
it's clearly only on one side. Yes, I do get frustrated. I don't know how you.
I understand that you see it that way.
There's only one dude that's like acting like a child with the country that won't give access to security measures and let this man transition. But it's both sides. And there's only. I mean, I just don't. There's only one side that's saying, "Hey, we need to work together," and this other side saying, "No, screw the other side."
Yeah, for you, it'll switch though. It'll switch now. Now Biden will be president.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can say Biden's doing an amazing job no matter what anybody else says. And the right can say he's doing a terrible job no matter what anybody else says. It's cool. You guys can just switch places now.
I guess. We got a guy that says, I want to work together. We need to stop the division. But it's both sides. We need to work. We need to come together. We need to heal from this maniac that y'all idiots put in the office. We need to come together.
Yeah, say it just like that. Yes, yes. That's exactly right. It's the same thing Trump did.
But it can't
Trump
be true because if you call
Trump
him a maniac,
the same thing. Every State of the Union, he says we need to come together as a country. This is Trump. Listen to me. Listen for a second. If you read the words, go back and actually see the words. This is how Trump does it.
I've read the words of some of Trump's speeches, like when he did the Batman Returns Bane speech, accepting speech.
Yeah. We need to come together as a country, and Democrats are the scum of the earth and terrible people. Like, that's how Trump does it. But he says we need to come together. Like, okay, great. He said it
before he said it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the very fine people then come back 3 minutes later and then throw some dirt over it and scrub it out, wipe his hands with the dirt from the...
They call that whitewashing it.
Okay, there it is. But never a better term in history. Never a more appropriate term in history.
But it's true. It's good. It's good stuff.
Hey, man, we're going to have ammunition for a long time, man. I've never seen anything like this. But the Overton meter, though, we need to do an Overton meter. I'm going to be ready next episode. I'm going to have some outlandish stuff that us as Americans have just think that's normal, that we aren't jumping out of our skin at because the Overton meter has been broken.
Yeah. So here's the deal, though, CJ. I'm not as smart as you think I am. I've told you that many times. You've said many times, "Oh, Justin, I thought you were smart." And I've never seen it. I don't know what an Overton meter is. There it is. There it is.
It goes to the point where, okay, somebody does something crazy. Somebody does something crazy. Let's say we're all hanging out and I jump up and we just play fight and I punch you in the face. You know what I'm saying?
Play fight. Man, you play fight rough. Okay?
I punch you in the face. That's kind of weird. And I'm like, hey man, toughen up. I was just playing. The next day, okay, and now if you get punched, it's play. Okay, the next day, I whip out a knife and put it to your throat. And you're like, man, what are you doing? This is crazy. Man, I'm just joking around, toughen up, okay? Every time I do something crazy, the meter gets pushed. So now I get a gun, I cock it, put my finger on the trigger while I'm almost squeezing it and put it to your head. And you're like, hey, what are you doing, man? You're going to kill me. Hey, man.
Just joking, man.
I'm just joking. Toughen up, okay? So now, at the point where I'm almost shooting you in the head with this gun, getting punched in the face seems normal, but it was never normal in the first place. It just keeps getting pushed further and further to the point where we become accepting of stuff where it's not even it's considered outlandish anymore because he keeps pushing it further and further and further. And then we just think it's normalized. We just think it's normalized.
So that's what, when you say Overton meter, that's like the gauge of public acceptance for action.
Of normalcy. And Trump just keeps doing crazy stuff and it just keeps getting pushed further. So now, if I come and punch you in the face, that's cool now because at least it's not a gun that's almost getting squeezed and blowing your head off. You know what I'm saying?
Like, whoo, thank goodness I got punched in the face.
Yeah, exactly. That's That's where we are. That's where America is. So yeah. They got a whole little breakdown of it. That was an off the cuff example.
No, that's good. And I do want to we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Okay. Oh yeah, you did say that.
But I am while I have my worries about Biden's faculty. I think that overall, I think he's going to try to pull everyone together if both sides would actually just let him.
I concur.
I don't know if that's going to happen. I have some serious doubts because
you got your boy, old Mitchy boy.
Mitch is. I'm telling you though, I think Mitch McConnell is a wicked, shrewd.
Mitch, he revels in stopping them from coming together. I think he just likes the power that he can do it.
Well, but that's something to keep in mind. Like all politics is. This is all about power. Mm-hmm. This is all about who gets the power. And part of politics is saying that you're doing it for the people. You know why they say that? Because the people then give them more power. Okay? It's true. Like that's why you say that. So politics is about power. So hopefully we can have some more conversations about that one day. Mm-hmm. I definitely want to actually get into some policy stuff with you at some point. But and obviously I want to have some just fun stuff along the way too. But also so about the Biden, and I think we're both truly happy that Black and brown women have someone like a Kamala Harris that they can say, okay, I can do this.
Something to aspire to be. Yeah, that's dope. Like,
and I think and just to put this out there, like the frustration for me, like I get it, like, oh, Black president, everybody's happy about that because there are people that thought that could never happen. Mm-hmm. A Black woman vice president, hopefully president one day, hopefully maybe not her, but another one.
we can agree on that too.
But will be president one day. And honestly, growing up, like for me, I never grew up thinking that they couldn't. So while I try to understand like someone like you or older generations that it's a big win for them, I never even grew up thinking that they couldn't. Like I never grew up thinking that a woman couldn't be president or a Black person couldn't be president.
You didn't go seeing they have a picture of every person up until Obama came out, and it's just all white guys. You never just assume it was like a white guy position, like.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't. I think part of it because of the way when my mom raised me. I told you my grandpa was super racist. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that came off with my mom, and I think part of it was. My mom worked for Judge Wilder, who is a Black man. And he was a judge, and she worked for him for 30 years. And I was around, her coworkers were very Black. She worked in very Black, like there's a grade, like we talked about the shades with your Black card. They were like 8, 9.
Like Clarence Whitfield Black, not Clarence Thomas Black. Like
that's right.
Black in the middle and out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, he was also a Republican judge, but anyway. Yeah. But I think like part of it was like I think part of that was part of the way I raised was like, so for me like it wasn't a big deal because I'm like clearly a Black person can be president. Like I'd think like what's the big deal? Clearly, as a country, we're to the point where he can be president or women like. Clearly we're to the point where a woman
not even a Black woman, a woman. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And so in my head, we're there. And I get that I'm judging our country incorrectly, or maybe I'm more aspirational or hopeful as far as where
absolutely you are.
And that's fine. But the reality
just to see how close this election was.
Yeah.
With the job that Trump has done and the things that he's shown the public. That should let you know where our country is as far as being accepted and progressive to all people and accepting to all people. The fact that this election was even this close with the things that he's done, whether you like Trump, even like you admitted that you was kind of ready for a change from policy before, but this after this first 4 years, he's like, man, this dude is just too nutty. I can't do it.
Well, it was more about the outcome for our country that he caused over the 4 years, more so than the policies. Yeah. Now some of his policies,
he never really had. I mean, he came in shooting policies off his hip. He just came in.
I mean, he signed some bipartisan stuff. I mean, part of it was it got drowned out because he was acting so crazy. Okay, I get that. Okay, but he did do some good stuff. Like as far as primarily black colleges. I forget HCB, whatever,
Yeah.
extending funding for them.
The go-to to every white person I ever talked to about Trump.
But all I'm saying is there were some wins, okay, for the people that were looking at some of those kind of things. The judges, for the people that were, you know, pro-life people, like that was a win for them. That wasn't, in fact, for some of them, that's getting this last judge confirmed. I think part of it is why Trump won, because if that was still hanging, I think the pro-life people would have been more likely to vote Trump just for the sake of getting that Supreme Court seat. So I almost think from a presidential standpoint, putting Amy Coney Barrett in as Supreme Court hurt Trump.
What? Really?
Because the people that are pro-life say, okay, we got 6 justices. We're good on that front. That's not taken into their equation anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just a thought. I don't know. I don't know how people vote.
Maybe.
But we're at where we're at. So I don't like seeing my friends worked up and all. I don't want to minimize. I'm not trying to minimize emotions. When I say I don't like seeing my friends worked up emotionally, I don't like, you know, we saw that Van Jones clip where he's talking about like worried about being confronted in the grocery store and all that kind of stuff. Like, while I don't see that in my day-to-day life, I don't meet people like that.
Yeah, but you can acknowledge that they do. Like, people are getting nasty and charged up and all that.
Right. And so like it's part of it is like, okay, that's why I need to have conversations with people that aren't like me, that don't have my life experiences, because you got to acknowledge at some point that people get emotional for a reason. It isn't just most people, it's not imagined. Some people it's totally, they're just crazy. But when this many people are that emotional, and yeah, I don't think the media helps the situation. I really don't. But it's that important. And seeing Van Jones tear up about some of the things that he said about Black and brown people being afraid and all this kind of stuff, like, you know, I think that is important. And that while most of the population doesn't see it, I don't know, it's a balancing act, because there are people that get left behind in both parties that get fired up. And I get it. You can point to one and say they're racist. You can point to one and say they're socialist. You can point to one and say they hate Christians. You can point to one and say they hate Muslims. Like, work through all that crap. Because honestly, I believe in my heart of hearts, most people are good people. I could be wrong, but I believe most people on both sides.
We're talking like 51 to 49. 51% to 49.
It's most. I mean, in my heart of hearts, the people that I meet in my life, generally speaking, want good things for other people. Generally. Now, there are evil people. I'm not saying that, but mostly those people are sick. There's a mental imbalance. You know, we can certainly point to very popular.
Oh, there's a term for that. Trump supporter.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the afternoon, what do they call it? Trump derangement syndrome?
I don't know. But I'm going with it.
That's what they call it on the right, because the left gets so worked up over Trump. That's the name they gave it, because they're just so worked up. They just can't even see anything other than I hate Trump. Like, Trump derangement syndrome. But anyway.
Guilty.
All right. Anyway, we're going to make it. Country's going to be all right.
Yes, sir. I'm just standing by just to see how this transition is going to take place. I don't know if they're going to have to drag this idiot out like kicking and screaming. It's going to be weird, man. It's going to be weird.
He won't. Who knows what he'll do, but it really won't matter. In the long scheme, it'll get a lot of people real worked up over the next 3 months. I'm going to be real mad and real hateful, but in the end, it's not going to have any effect, in my opinion. Just like Trump didn't tank. You know, everybody's like, "Oh, Trump gets elected, I'm moving out of this country."
That's extreme. Ain't
Trump's gonna ruin the country. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, he's gonna be gone, and really, other than like what, you know, the people that are worried about going into grocery stores, like, once again, I didn't see that, so hopefully that gets better for the people that have to worry about that.
But it was feeling themselves.
Like, as a structurally as a country, like, we're not like 100 times worse off than we were 4 years ago. I just don't buy that. I think
no, we weren't.
I think we're gonna be fine.
Outside of the 250,000 people that are dead because the president said that the pandemic wasn't real. Yeah, outside of that, that's probably the biggest snafu. Other than that, there's nothing major. Well, unless you're Muslim, that you're banned and you can't visit your family and stuff like that. That's jacked up.
But most of his stuff is going to get undone.
Yeah, just because it is getting undone, don't mean it wasn't shit. That's seriously jacked up. That's like at the top of the list. Like if you're Muslim and you've never done nothing, no criminal record, and just because he's racist, you can't come see your family, or your family can't visit, or you can't be for half a decade. You couldn't visit your family just because Trump wants to be racist. That's up there on the list.
I'm not saying he did all good things, and he did a lot of terrible things.
Yeah.
I just
and I don't have to be Muslim. And that's the thing. That's what I don't understand about people. And we don't got to run. I know you're over your time, but that's the thing. Let me just piggyback on you. That's the thing that I don't get about this diehard support of Trump by these white people. You see he's done some good things, he's done some bad things, but some of the bad things are really terrible. I don't have to be Mexican to feel that pain. I don't have to be Muslim to know I want to see my mom if I came from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? And they can't get that.
I agree. And I think like part of the bad thing was, I think, not getting his healthcare stuff fixed and attack,
Let me just tear down Obama. He didn't even care about working on nothing. He just wanted to get rid of Obama's. And that was important to him, not creating a new one.
I was talking to David, my PR guy, who, we know is openly gay. He's shared in episode 5. Great episode, by the way, if you're listening. That one's way funnier than this one.
That was a good one. That was check that out, everybody.
But, he said, Trump said, and I didn't proof fact this, but this is important to him. And I take people's words for it. Like I take your word for a lot of stuff, even though it's nonsense. But he's like, he part of his really feeling wasn't that Trump necessarily hated gay people, but that from a policy standpoint, no transvestites in the army or serving in the military, or I'm sorry, I used transgender people. I apologize. He informed me that some of these words are now sensitive that weren't 10 years ago. It's hard to keep up with.
It keeps adding too.
I'm trying.
Don't feel that. Yeah.
And then in a couple years, it'll all change, and the stuff we're using now will be bad words. I don't know. But that was just an unnecessary attack, and that's what I didn't like. I felt like there was a lot over the last 4 years. I thought that there was a lot of times where, on some hands, some of it made sense, but on other hands, it was like it was an unnecessary attack. It just wasn't necessary. Most of how he handles things wasn't necessary.
Most of it was warranted, but
I will give Obama a lot of credit right now. I think that as far as being even keeled and trying to be
he's the personification of class. Like his wife said, when they go low, we go high. And he is projected that. This dude won't even put his picture up. Every president. He's just being a baby, man. Like everything about it, man.
Forget it. You're already trying to go back to hating on Trump. I'm trying to lift up somebody and you're already
man. No, I'm just saying, for somebody to be that just have that much ill repute and that much ill feeling towards you, and he doesn't do what I'm doing. He always goes high. And I think it's crazy just to have somebody hate you that much for no reason. Well, we know why you hate him, because he's black. But to have somebody hate you.
And did you see when Obama roasted Trump at one of his speeches?
They all roasted. They do the roasting. That's a roast.
I understand. Yeah. Trump is a crybaby, super sensitive. You think that's going to go over well when the president of the USA roasts Donald Trump? You think that plays well with someone like that?
Hillary roasted him. It's like a dinner where any of your opposition, or you know how it goes.
But Trump doesn't participate in that. You should see it. It's hilarious. Did you see it? He's talking about.
So I saw the one Trump did against Hillary, and he took it way overboard.
Oh yeah, well Trump's just hating. Obama did it, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, and he hates that. And he hates that. I gotta look it up though.
Because he was making fun of people wanting his birth certificate, right? Long form birth certificate. Yeah, and he's like, and Joe, I know Donald Trump is here, so I decided to release my birth video. And they played the scene from Lion King, where they hold up the baby, and he's like,
I remember him coming out to "I Am a Real American." He was like just throwing jabs, but it was
It was hilarious. And he's like, and after he's like, and by the way, Fox News, that was a joke. He was a
hates the
funny guy.
smoothness.
I like, as a person, I like Obama. Now,
Yeah.
you can't tell people in the South I said that because
Okay, you might run you out of town, man.
yeah, that's what I say. I'm telling you, people on both sides hate me. There are
They have some
people.
burning in your yard, man. Later
They
on
are
tonight.
they are people that honestly believe, and I don't think they're racist. I really don't. But there are people that honestly believe Trump or Obama destroyed our economy. And I try telling them, I'm like, no, you don't understand what he inherited. Like
Do
he
you
un-
know
he
from Bush to when he left, where we were,
well
where it
yeah
started, and where we finished?
well, and it all happened in like the last 6 months. So it was like it was going downhill fast when it got handed to kind of like now. Like we're going down right now. I don't care what anybody says and how good the numbers look. Like we're in trouble right now. And like we're playing hot potato and Trump's like, I'm out of here. Here you go.
The
But
numbers were great when I was in there. Now look what happened. Biden came in and it all went to crap.
yep, that's exactly right. That is exactly what's going to happen. And we already know it. And we'll have those arguments then. But anyway, I got to go. CJ, it was great.
All
It was
right.
fun. And as always, I love talking to you about this stuff.
Sure.
And we're wild zebras, baby. And we got hats.
Wild zebras. Check the merch. $150 a hat.
And don't worry, it all goes to a good cause. CJ in my pocket.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.